Good morning, good people. Today is Wednesday, July 17th, 2024. It's about a few minutes before 6 a.m. on a beautiful morning, beautiful Wednesday morning here in southwestern Nevada, Nye County, Pahrump or Pahrump-Tucky, you choose. Again, my name is Edward Bevilacqua. We are here to help our students and other interested people on their journey through this transcendent life. So we're here to help you get the tools, how to use the tools to maximize this life, this unique life, while we are here today in preparation of what comes next. Because it's kind of a two-part belief. One, we have a transcendent soul, and number two, how we perform, how we act, how we behave, the things we do in this life have an impact on what happens next. Thus, we want to help our students and other interested people take the position that when I die, when it's over, when I go to the next stage, I will be able to say, I fought the good fight, I ran the good race, I loved God with all my heart and mind and soul, and I loved others as Jesus loved me. Boom, that's it. No big deal, pretty simple. And we do that in a couple ways. One is the worksheet down below. The most important thing is the worksheet. So that's about 3 to 4 hours a day worth of studying. So if you have nothing to do, you can do that thing, go through it. It's a 4-part process: physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual exercises, things from the, rock and roll quotes, the experts. Not somebody who could be interesting, not somebody who claims to be an expert, but somebody that their peers believed to be an expert. We'll talk more about that. And let me just say what we're going to be focused on today is what are uniquely positioned for. What are you uniquely positioned for in life? So, but the number one thing, the most important tool that we have to help is the worksheet. And the worksheet contains videos primarily, some written things from experts, from the peer recognized experts in 4 areas. Again, physical, which is fitness and health, taking care of yourself, both from an external, physically, and fitness, or health, what you consume. So physical, mental, always be learning. C, emotional, and what we say to people, we summarize that as, if you can't control your emotions, don't worry, someone else will, and they'll probably take you out of the game. And then number 4 is the spiritual, which is the most important. That's the preparation. So if this was a boat, the physical, a sailboat, the physical would be the sails to help you navigate through the water, just as your body is going to help you navigate through the world. If your body is damaged, it's going to be more difficult to navigate through the world. You have to spend more time and resources to be able to navigate, to physically move through the world. So the sails are like the physical. The rudder system, what enables you to actually steer from here to there in a more precise way than the sails, that is the mental. How do I get from here to there in a sailboat with the wind going this way? Well, I have a steering mechanism. I can go against the current. I'm not subject to the wind and the current. I'm not going to be rudderless, in other words. Emotional, that's like the lower deck. What's below the deck? I go there for safety. I go there for when it's cold outside. I go there for warmth. When it's hot outside, I go there to cool on. I have my kitchen there. I have my storage there. All my treasures and supplies are down below. If I have a good below deck, the journey is going to be much better. I don't have to strap things onto the deck, or they could get ruined or destroyed. And then the most important thing on the ship is the hull. That's the spiritual side. And if all is lost at sea, your mast is down, your rudder's broken, but your whole is intact, you can literally be praying to be rescued. So the whole is the spiritual part. That's the thing. And if the whole is breached, you're going down. If we don't have a spiritual strength, we will crash and burn, so to speak. Okay, so the worksheet is number one. That's the most important thing. However, on a practical basis, the other thing is this podcast. And the purpose of the podcast is, number one, to provide the worksheet, but on a practical matter, to help create better habits. That's it. Better habits. Just to help you create better habits, help you develop better habits. And you do that through repetition, repetition, repetition. So I can promise you, if you keep showing up every day, watching the podcast, doesn't matter what time, you don't have to do it live. Nobody's on here live right now. Wada Bevy told me she had to be at something at 9 o'clock Florida time. If you can't be here live, that's okay. But the thing to do is have a routine, follow the routine, repetition, repetition, repetition. And it helps you be somebody who can create better habits. And if every day you're working on improving your habits so you can do things unconsciously, you don't have to think about it, you can get a lot more done because your conscious brain is doing A, your unconscious brain is doing B. Simple example, when you brush your teeth in the morning, the way it works is people are consciously getting the toothbrush, putting the toothpaste on it, doing this, doing that. The second the toothbrush hits their teeth, their mind goes off into something else, like what am I going to be doing in the future? Good morning, Atticus von Atticus. You may have heard that Wada Bevy will not be on here live today, but she has reached out to someone who is in Virginia that may join us, that may start the process of putting this in their daily routine, as Atticus von Atticus has done. Put it into your daily routine, and then repetition, repetition, repetition. You do it to the point where if you don't do it, you feel like something's not right. Okay, cool, good, boom, great. What are we here to talk about today? We are here to talk about what are you uniquely qualified for? What are your life's experiences? What are all of the experience of your life? What you've learned, what you've experienced, the hardships, the good, the bad, all of that. If you wrap that into or put it into a recipe, what is it you are uniquely qualified for? So down below in the worksheet, Darren Hardy talks about this. And he says what you need to do is learn what are you uniquely qualified for, number one. And then number two, pursue that. Pursue that. Why? Because you're uniquely qualified to do it. You're uniquely qualified to do it. That's it. No big deal. So I can't say it better than he does, but down below in the red letter, in the worksheet, we have Darren Hardy talking about what they didn't teach you at business school. A guy named Tristan Walker today. And I have a link in there to a worksheet that he has. Okay. Advice from an 80-year-old. Give people a second chance and a third, etc. per Luke 17:3. So Jesus just wasn't out there forgiving people, right? When he performed a miracle, healed someone, what did he typically say? What did he typically say? Your faith has saved you. Get up, sin no more. Your faith has saved you. So there was a conditional thing. The person, and what he was looking for was repentance. Repent, have a change of heart, a change of mind, I'm not going to do that anymore. That's what he said. And if you repented, you would be forgiven. Okay, cool. Well, today is Wednesday. What does that mean? Wednesday means volunteers breakfast at Methodist Church. That's what it means. It means volunteers breakfast at the Methodist Church. So I have to be out the door at just after 7 a.m. because I've got to be there for the setup, for setting it up. I have to be there. So that means Wednesdays are going to be very short because I got to get on the Peloton. That is my part of my physical fitness routine. But let's see what else we got on our hit parade today. What other interesting things do we have? We have our pre-podcast, the preparation, our attitude of gratitude, our review exercise, and projecting into the future. Our daily theme, which today's theme is, what are you uniquely qualified for? And the exercise to do that would be to close your eyes. If you put your hands up here, that helps your focus go internal. Close your eyes, do this, and say, what am I uniquely qualified for? And then just observe, because our brains are designed, have evolved to solve problems. So if you give it a problem to solve, it'll do it. What am I uniquely qualified for? What have my life experiences taught me or provided for me that no one else has? What have the hardships in life that I've learned, the lessons I've learned, what have those uniquely qualified me for to help other people? Boom. When you get into a pickle, say your name, Edward, wait for it. Just wait for it. Wait for it. And you can say, you got yourself into this mess. Let me help you get out. And then ask, what if you stepped out of your comfort zone? Okay, so where are we at? We're at 12 minutes. It's 6:08. Again, good morning, Matticus von Atticus, the Untersergeant, the Field Marshal, the Feeble Marshal. I wouldn't say feeble, not the Feeble Marshal. Matt's pretty physically fit now. Okay, but let's call it a day. Let's call it a day. We've got a lot of stuff to do. TED Talk today, Johan Hari talking about addiction. What you think you know about addiction is probably wrong. This is a guy who was uniquely qualified to solve this problem because he was very well educated and he screwed up his life because he had addiction problems that came from early childhood trauma. So he had everything, he lost it. He asked himself, why the beep did I do that? Why did I behave that way? And so he had a quest. He had a question. He had this quest. And he had the means. He had the training. And he mostly had the motivation to answer the question of, why did I do this? What is the thing of addiction? And his answer to the thing of addiction is, the opposite of addiction is not sobriety, it's connection. So he had the money, the means, and the training and the motivation to go to the experts in the world and try to synthesize what they had done, these deep dives into a particular area. So people who were studying mongooses and addiction, people who were studying psychology about it and the physiology of it, synthesized what they had to say. And he said, aha, here's what the experts are saying. It's consistent with what they're saying. The opposite of addiction is not sobriety, it is connection. And if you take that premise and you say with AA, the purpose, the means of AA is not sobriety, it's connection to other people who are on the path to sobriety. So there are AA meeting houses, right? You have a sponsor. It's getting connected to people And on a neuroscience level, what it's doing is it's turning down the dopamine, and turning up the oxytocin. No big deal. That's it. Okay, so we're going to call it quits for today. 15 minutes in, end stream.